day, Charlie takes on the Rich brothers to transform a Welsh farmer's field into a traditional cottage garden.
It's a lovely family here.
Oof, big family.
Big family, but this garden's all about Ruth and Ian, and they're in the Welsh Hills. Look at that. Ian's a farmer.
Is he?
And Ruth has been on at him to do her garden forever.
Ian and Ruth live with their 4 sons on the family farm in Powys, mid-Wales, in the heart of the Welsh countryside.
We've been living here for a few years now, and we've done the house up. And just to finish off, after doing the house off, I've always promised to get a nice garden, but never seemed to be able to get quite round it, so needed a bit of help looking after the livestock as well, and rearing 4 boys. It's just full on. But now we've got a little bit more spare time to do some gardening.
These pictures look like they've been taken in the middle of a field.
Well, strange you should say that, because that's where the garden's going.
Really?
Yes, in this field.
It's an area just waiting to have something loved and done to it.
It took me a while to stop the sheep grazing in there and get the fences. It was a nice little piece of ground to put a ewe and lamb on when they've just been born.
And what she wants is very cottage.
We've got lots of character that we'd like to have a cottage type garden with Beatrix Potter style, just to have it really rustic, similar to the house.
Ian and Ruth both come from a long line of farmers, and Ruth has a personal reason why she'd like a garden she can call her own.
It has been a dream just to have this garden, and my parents were big gardeners, so it's as much a sort of memorial to them as well, really, to have incorporate the love of gardening.
I'm very excited about this one, because the other thing is they've got loads of bits and bobs that we can use in the garden, so it
wow.
could be gorgeous.
Sounds incredible. What's the budget?
2,500.
Okay, so that is quite tight, isn't
It
it?
is, but with the other bits and bobs, it'll make it. See, look at all that rock there.
Yeah.
They've got some tree stumps as well.
Wow. I can't get over
I've already designed it. It's done. Thank you very much.
Excited by the challenge, Charlie and the Rich brothers head to the glorious Welsh countryside in Powys for a closer look at the plot.
Yes. Beautiful.
Well, it's a different blank canvas for us, isn't it?
Quite
View
nice,
that
really.
way.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That way.
Wow. There's something quite charming about the fact it's situated in a farm. You don't want to lose that. It is wonderful. Really special spot, isn't it? Yeah.
Look, so many stuff. Look, there's a Belfast sink as well, and look at the stone trough. Oh my goodness
I can
gracious
see all the
me.
stone along
I
there
did
as
think,
well.
yeah.
Right, yeah, I'm dying to go inside that house. Yeah. It's going to be full of character, isn't it? Good timing, it's just started raining. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, I love it. Look at these materials, they're wonderful. Stairs as well. Got some photos. Oh, look at this family tree, yeah, all the way down to Ian and Ruth there at the bottom. Oh, wow, beautiful, isn't it? It's so nice to see that heritage is a massive part. Yeah, and you can see, obviously, a very old building. It's in Ian's family, so I think it's really important we continue that into the garden.
Oh, yeah?
Busy. Farmers are always
We're
working
always
up.
busy.
Yeah.
We're always busy.
Well, I hope you've got enough time to chat to me about this garden. I mean, lovely views, but you want cottagey, romantic, full of colour.
It's just the oldie worldiness of and the lovely older plants, things like the old roses and foxgloves,
And sweet peas.
yes, and all sort of growing together, beautifully colour, and no straight lines.
No straight lines.
It's stunning, isn't it? It's wonderful. And I guess the quality of this is the fact that it has that story, has that age, and again has that heritage. And I think we consider these materials won't have come from too far afield, will they? And it's definitely what we need to consider with that garden. We need to think about materials that are found locally.
What would you really, really hate in the garden?
Anything new.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want an actual seating like patio or?
A nice seating area would be lovely, but keep it rustic and no decking.
No decking.
No decking.
Right, no decking.
And I think, using simple materials, don't try and overdo it. Yeah. Like I said, it's coming from around here. Echo that in the garden, but possibly have a nice detail, like a beautiful old kind of stone floor or something, with grass just to filter through.
Yeah. Now, the budget's not huge, but you did send in pictures that you had a few bits and bobs that we could use.
So we're going back to the farming side of things. We've got an old horse plough, which my father would have used, so that would be brilliant. And the roots of some very old trees that could be upturned and used possibly. And rustic troughs, from again bringing in the farming element.
So yes, that sounds fantastic.
And this fireplace is beautiful. Little bread oven in the corner. Might just warm my buns on there. How is that? It's the perfect temperature. Oh, it's so nice to have. I mean, that is a big fireplace. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. The heart of this room. Well, that's it. The garden out there needs to have a heart, doesn't it? For everyone to get around and just really get a lot from it. Oh, wonderful.
Do you want any like vegetables? Because when you think of Beatrix Potter, you think, well, hold on, the bunny rabbits were always whipping the veg, so there's got to be some vegetables in there.
My father was a very keen gardener again, so,
Cool. Right, well, I think we can probably come up with something.
Yeah, good luck.
Charlie and the Rich brothers share their newfound knowledge and get to work on their designs. Each of them will come up with a plan for Ian and Ruth that works within the budget. The couple will choose their favourite, and whichever designer loses will help the winner build the garden. The £2,500 budget will be spent on materials, while Charlie and the Rich brothers, along with their team of landscapers, provide the labour for free. Back in Powys, it's time for the pitch, and Ian and Ruth are joined by sons Samuel and Myrig.
Hello, everybody. This is like a formal interview. Oh, I'm slightly worried. Here we go. Different pathways that wind their way round in lots of different ways. Full of cottage colour and all those very cottagey plants.
Hello.
Hello.
Daunting. It does, yeah.
Good.
Good. Okay, so this is our design.
wow.
So, obviously, you guys sit within a very beautiful rustic landscape. So, we thought it'd be really important to give you an equally beautiful cottage-style garden. So, we really wanted to bring in a lot of colour, a lot of interest, and plants and trees that aren't necessarily found within the landscape. So, it has a lovely bit of unique detail. So, the idea is that we've got these lovely networks of gravel paths, like that, and breaking that up then are these large areas of meadow and these large areas of planting set within there.
So, both designers are giving Ruth and Ian a traditional cottage garden, creating a soft structure with curved shapes and winding gravel pathways. Next, the details. And with no entrance or boundary to speak of, how are they defining the garden?
So we're coming into the garden through a gate. I was going to use split chestnut railing. So it's not actually to keep animals out, it's just to look good. Ian, all right? Then as you wander around here, this again is another hazel sort of fence, but made to look very pretty. It's going to be up above head height, so you can grow all your roses up there, sweet peas, lots of clematis. So it's going to be just a mesh of different climbers.
Decorative fences, a gate and climbing plants will add to the rustic charm. So what's Harry and David's idea?
We wanted to keep it quite loose and undefined. Obviously, it's in a kind of a round patch in a way. There's no corners. So the meadow helps to link the garden with the field, really. So you can allow the field to grow up nice and natural, and it can all blend as one.
So Harry and David have used gravel and meadow lawn to create a subtle boundary. The cottage garden is filled with flowers and edibles. So what have our designers come up with?
On the outside, this is going to be blossom trees on either side of the entranceway and lots of bulbs, meadow plants dotted all the way round here. And you come in and you can walk round this way and you will get to some vegetable beds, and then This is a pergola, very simple, over the top with a bench seat underneath. But then all these areas are all perennial plants, your traditional cottage garden plants.
Charlie's gone all out with a huge variety of attractive flowers and veg. The brothers next.
The planting beds inside then, they have a little bit more of an ornamental value, so they're going to be really colourful plants, kind of quite cottagey. I know that you like the Beatrix Potter kind of style, so the idea is to make the inside of this just feel a lot more ornamental and just a lot more colour.
Harry and David are also on brief with their plants. It's hard to tell which way this will go. As a family of 6, a practical part of the brief will be a seating area.
Wander on round and come to probably the area that you'll sit and put a table, your big table that you've got there, of an evening, sit out, look at the view. I've got a bit of planting here with some sort of trees and shrubs to give a bit of height and then close it.
Around this would be some nice dappled canopy from the trees. So again, you can position seats within the gravel areas next to the plants, just if you want to get away from the sun. And we've also positioned a few stone walls just to help for a little perch spot. Can become quite a practical space, as well as fitting in with, you know, the beautiful stone walls that we find around Wales.
It would relate really nicely to the stonework on the house as well. So it has that lovely link with the history of your home.
Appealing to the family history has gone down well. Finally, with both designers wanting this one, they've come up with an extra treat to win over Ian and Ruth.
I want to incorporate as many of your little bits and bobs and ornaments as possible. So that's your pig trough. I thought put water in it, great for especially near the vegetables. Pot in the top, and it's great because if you bring the bees and stuff in, you'll get a lot more pollination. And in there I would like to use your tree stumps as a stumpery so that we can plant it up with ferns and hostas.
We really like the idea of introducing a wildlife pond, just to have an element of water in there we felt would just be really beautiful, quite tranquil.
It sounds, I guess, a little bit crazy to say that we want to try and encourage more animals in there, because obviously you're surrounded by it all. But it's really lovely to have something quite close to the house within the garden setting.
Very good, boys. Well done.
All right, well, we've got the okay from you, so I think we should go now. Don't hedge your bet so far. We are Welsh, but...
I will leave you to contemplate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With the pitches over, it's now down to Ruth and Ian to decide which cottage garden they prefer.
Wow, these are amazing, aren't they? I'm loving that wall area there and the seating. It's certainly nothing that I was expecting at all.
It's going to be nice here in the summer and in the autumn.
Yeah.
Loads of it around there.
Yeah.
Just some stone walls and a bit of stone on the floor where they dine.
The stonework, yeah, that would look very good with the curvature in it, yeah. And so, you know, we've got plenty of stone to go into the walls. Well, then moving on to Charlie's.
I have really sort of swung the design more towards Ruth.
It's all the older varieties.
These are the things you wanted. You wanted to incorporate your farmer's ploughing and the garden patch.
I've got vegetables and a pergola.
Neither of them.
Yeah.
No.
The boys actually were very keen on the ponded area. Myrick thought that his ducks could come in there, but...
Surprising what wildlife would like the ponds, especially our swallows when they come back.
We've got a pond.
No, I haven't got a pond. And I put a stumpery in.
Oh.
They've both given us amazing designs and...
Yeah, not on big budgets either, really. We're not throwing a lot of money at it, and they've come up with this.
Yeah, ours is slightly more Welsh rural, isn't it? But I feel like Mum might have...
Do you not think this is not Welsh and rural enough?
It is.
Never get enough.
I really didn't think it would be such a tough decision to make.
Will they go for Charlie's with her pergola, veg beds and abundance of cottage plants? Or the Rich Brothers blend of meadows, trees and Welsh stone walls? It's time to find out.
Hang on. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Right, everyone. It really has been a really tricky decision. And so, you'll do the reveal, please?
Are you ready?
Yes, two phenomenal designs, and thank you so much for the effort you put in, and we look forward to reaping the benefits of...
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I'm happy now.
Oh, I've never seen you smile so much.
Yay!
Charlie couldn't be more thrilled, and she'll have the Rich brothers to help her turn this empty field into a characterful cottage garden. It's the day of the build, and down on the farm, our team of garden rescue rabbits are gathering.
Ah, what's up? Hey up, fellas. I've got some news. We heard about that new garden on yonder, full of fruit and veg.
Oh.
Come on, check
Go
it
on
out.
then, yeah.
Check it out.
Let's go.
With breakfast over, Andy, Sam, Steve, project manager Paul,
Right, rescue rabbits. Get off our land.
Design, and it's all about using what's here.
Veg beds.
So there's the veg beds, and then we've got loads and loads of stuff around here as well. So old troughs, all kinds of kind of knickknacks and things
Yeah,
like that.
bits of
So
stone and stuff.
yeah, so it's basically what we can find and utilise it.
Come on, best hop
No
to
time
it.
to hide in your burrows.
Come on.
the first job of the day is to dig out the 30 square metres of field where Charlie's circular garden will go.
What do you want this turf?
With a limited budget of £2,500, the team can use any raw materials from around the farm. There's wood, tree stumps that were originally from Ruth's parents' land, and stone.
Right, this stuff's come from the quarry up at the top. So basically, luckily, the farmer has got a quarry where the stone will have come from for the house. So Andy's just loading me and Sammy up, and this is going to go into the base for the seating area and any paths that are around the veg planting area as well. So it's another thing that we've not had to buy in, and it's already here. Cheers, Sam. Put it on that back edge, Sammy.
While the stone is added to form the base of the area, Steve and Lee are making a start on building the chestnut rail fencing. Charlie's designed a rustic hardwood fence that creates a subtle half-boundary to the garden. The team have ploughed on in the wet and windy conditions, and the field is starting to look like a garden. Great news, because Charlie and the Rich brothers are round the corner.
Morning.
Morning.
That's good. They're busy already.
Yeah, busy. Can't stop them, can you?
And you're both going to be busy as well. So we're going to be using some of these.
Oh, brilliant.
Now, this garden, my little Welsh lammikin, there's a lot to do.
Okay.
Because it's a big garden,
Oh, yeah.
small budget. So we're going to be using all these gorgeous things. So I want you guys to make a really nice little fire pit and some cool seats for the four boys.
Oh, fantastic jobs. Wonderful.
I'm going to be on stumpery, but then also I want to get some great sort of native trees in. The great thing about this garden is because it's so big, we can actually put big species
Yeah,
in.
wonderful.
Hurry up, get in there. Yes. So I'm thinking over here for the boys.
Yeah. I think it's a nice little spot.
Yeah, you know, they got the view and it's away from mum and
You
dad.
feel quite cradled by the
They
hedge.
can talk mischief here.
Yeah.
And so cool chairs for them, a stack of logs. You know
Our
what you're
jobs
up
now.
to then.
Yeah, we're off.
This garden is quite organic garden looking out over the field. So the chestnut post and rail fence gives that feel. Then over here we've got the pathway that leads into the veg beds. So we've got 3 veg beds, not only veg but also cut flowers. So veg beds here, going to be a pergola here, so it's a nice calm shady spot to sit. But lots of different pathways to walk round the garden. And then we come back to what I will call the pretty garden with all those plants, you know, astrantias and echinaceas, all those really glorious cottagey plants. So that'll be the full-on colour. And then it's a case of placing all the knickknacks, and there's some amazing knickknacks. There's pigs' troughs, there's old milk churns, so I'm going to have a ball.
Lee's nearly finished the decorative fence. Built in a traditional way, it's in keeping with the rustic look and feel of the garden.
So this is chestnut, post rail, so you can get them where you get like posts with 3 rails, but we've gone for the 2 because the budget is so tight. We've had to watch the money.
The total cost for the posts and rails comes in at £400.
And Ruth was really keen that this garden, apart from not having any straight lines, had no concrete, no paint, no sort of cement or anything like that, because she's really into the whole sustainable countryside, and she wants the garden to fit into the landscape, which I'm sure it will, because we're using lots of natural materials. We're not concreting the posts in. I mean, posts like chestnut last 15, 20 years. So Lee's almost finished down here.
It's time for a lesson from Lee on traditional fence building, and there's not a drill in sight.
So the process is dig a big hole for the post.
Yeah, not filled it yet. So what we'll do...
Is that so you got a bit of play together?
So we'll slide that into there.
Right,
We'll
and then
that one back slightly. Now just
And-
roll it. Whoa.
don't wall. Oh, it is like a big jigsaw. Have you been muttering a few times? Me mutter, yeah, that Charlie Dimmock. When I have a word.
Back to me.
Has it? Whew. Oh, so it is quite. So you don't even need any fixings. And would you ever put in like a wedge to really wedge them?
On the end one, yes.
Right.
So I've got another one lot to put in here now, but on the end one, all I'll do is just cut the ends off some of these rails.
And then wedge
Just wedge
it, and then I'll stop it
tight, yeah.
tight.
And all we're using is, because it's clay substrate here underneath the soil, we're just packing it back in round it, punching it round.
I think it's going to look lovely, I have to say.
Charlie's adding a chill-out area at the back of the garden for Ruth and Ian's 4 boys. The brothers are building bespoke chairs using timber from trees on the farm.
That for the seat.
Yeah, the bit you're sitting on would be perfect.
Well, if you've ever wondered what copsing actually is, this is a great example. Now, this is a beautiful hazel tree. As you can see, it's pretty old. It's got some lovely variation in actual stem sizes. And that's what we're going to use, because these thin ones are going to be great for the top to our seats that we're making.
Well, that may look quite brutal, but it doesn't actually on the tree at all. And what's so nice about doing it is you actually get these very straight growths. If you look at some of the older branches, they start to twist, they start to gnarl. Now, they'd be great for logs, but actually if you want to use them for something functional, like the seat that we're going to do, these straighter, more true branches are a lot better. Now, for something like this, it's probably taken about 3 years to grow. I mean, that's quite incredible, isn't it? These guys, probably 10 plus years.
While the brothers cut down the wood for their chairs back in the garden,
Don't break it!
the team are on their next job of the day to build a large stumpery. Charlie's getting creative with the roots of dead trees round the farm. Similar to a rockery, wildlife-friendly habitats will thrive in these damp, shady conditions. As it'll be one of the first features by the entrance to the garden,
Yeah, it's going to go right up.
Charlie wants the stumpery arranged in an artistic way.
And forward. Tip it, tip it, tip it, tip it. That's it, that's it, that's it.
To make the biggest impact.
That's it, and then if we can get out, that's it. I think that's quite nice.
It's all go in the garden, so David's found a quiet barn to get crafty.
So we just finished creating our prototype seat. That's really simple. It's supposed to look organic and rustic and natural, and I think it's doing exactly that. Now, it's just made up of a few really simple pieces. We've got one V here attached to the top, which leads down to the floor. We've got another V attached to the base there, leading up here, and then one cross beam there, which is bracing that all together. Now, in theory, you could stick the ends into the ground, and that should hold pretty solid. But just to make sure, we're going to add this extra piece in here. So you just attach it down to the base there, like that. We'll be able to tie that one in, and then you sit that there. And then now with that, it's created a gorgeous A-frame, all really solid. So this is going to be the back. We'll have a few slatted hazels just to make it a bit more comfy. And this is where they're going to put their bum. Now, obviously, this is the prototype, so we've got a lot thinner timber. But for the actual seat, we're going to be using nice, chunky stuff. And that's going to make it, used in their new garden, this has a lovely feeling. Cool, okay, that's awesome.
We'll have to come a bit further. So this goes back, isn't it, a load? How's that looking?
I think that's about right there, isn't it?
It is solid. No movement in that at all.
For the back left of the garden, Charlie's designed a large fan-shaped pergola to frame new veg beds. Watching the pennies, she's using her imagination and know-how to design and build it.
Well, I can hold it. That's about the only thing I can do. Now, Ian is a typical farmer. Never throws anything away. And the telegraph poles were not recently, they were replaced a while back, but the old ones that came out, he's kept. So we're using that as our main upright for our pergola. And then we're going to run chestnut rails, the same ones as we got with the post and rail there, off. And Lee's going to fix them in exactly the same way as we've notched them on the fence. So rustic, we seem to be tipping that way a bit, boys. That's better. Yeah.
With the central pole in position, Lee can start to slot in the chestnut rails.
Another bit of Ian's hoarding. The old slates off of the farmhouse when it was re-slated. I've got ideas of using it to edge the veg beds. Stop the grass from growing into the vegetable beds and also the shale from going in. And, you know, what's more Welsh than slate and sheep?
The 3 veg beds have already been prepped with soil, compost and manure. They just need the decorative edging.
It really defines the shape of the vegetable beds. Now, I know the veg beds aren't huge, but you've got to remember that Ian and Ruth work full-time. It's a working farm, so if I gave her really huge veg beds, it would become a chore, and you do get quite a lot of produce off of something this size. You know, 6, 7 strawberry plants, you'll get quite a lot of strawberries off of them. A couple of chilli plants, I mean, you only need a few chilies, they go a long way. So I didn't want to make it a chore for her, but enough that she can potter. And what I love about putting this edging in is it really does define the borders. It'll stop the grass from growing shine coming from the centre of the pergola.
Whoa! Look at those stumps, they look amazing. Chaz, this is looking good. We haven't been in yet.
I was going to say, I thought you were lost in the wild.
Oh, we've got too much area to play in. Give it a little
gnome seed.
Little lambs.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. This is looking gorgeous.
Yeah?
That slate looks gorgeous there.
Does look good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Very snazzy.
Good. I mean, once we get some plants in, we get a few of the trees in,
Yeah.
I think it'll start coming together. So you're...
Down there, isn't it? Those rocks look gorgeous down there as well.
Lovely.
Oh! That's like a...
We'll get the second one in here, and then we'll do our little fire pit.
Lee's making a high fence out of coppiced hazel in the centre of the garden. This will be home to lots of colourful climbing plants.
That's fantastic.
More large boulders arrive from elsewhere on the farm to decorate the space and add to its rustic charm.
1, 2, 3.
While Charlie's getting help with her trees.
Right. Now, these are very thorny guys, so don't drop them.
Twist it around to front.
And this one's a bit hard to handle.
That way.
That way. Yeah.
That way. All right. Listen to your son sometimes, you. Oh, so the big trees are going in. I'm loving these. They're a type of hawthorn, and they've got some really big thorns on them, as you can see, and they get the big berries on them as well. You can see 1 or 2 of the haws up there. But what I love about them is they sort of evoke that feeling of Wales, because they're all like knotted and craggy, and it looks like the wind has blown them into a sort of slightly contorted shape. So I think they'll look fantastic in the garden.
Charlie spent £1,000 on mature native trees.
Next one. They are so... I wonder why they're so heavy.
Or are we
week. No, and then we've also got this one here, which I love, Spindle Bush. And you see it quite a lot along motorways. They use it as a hedging plant along the motorways. It gets to about probably 5-6 metres tall, but it goes a fantastic colour in the autumn. It goes like oranges and pinks, and it has these very bizarre berries on it. And it'll be a nice open one.
Yeah, oh, nice arrangement.
The hazelwood chairs finished, the brothers are making a traditional stone fire.
You know, the surrounding landscape, no houses to be seen, so it means light pollution is very little. So sit back and enjoy the stars. That's why this is located here. We've got some nice reclined seats there, and sometimes it's nice just to take a little break, sit back in the evening, enjoy a fire, and enjoy what's around you. And maybe watch my brother work.
The most important element of a quintessential cottage garden is the variety of perennial and ornamental flowers. Charlie spent £800 on plants allocated for specific spots, starting with the high hazel fence.
This bit's going to be so pretty, just loads of flowers. We've got shrub roses with thorns. We've got clematis to climb up. With climbing roses, it's quite a good idea to put clematis with your climbing roses, because clematis always go a bit sort of woody and scrappy at the bottom, but if you've got them climbing up through roses, they look much nicer.
The veg beds next.
That thyme can go there. That thyme can go there. And then we'll put the garlic in the middle.
In the chill out area at the back, Harry and David's creative juices are still flowing.
That's plenty. To hold the logs themselves, we're creating a little bit of a simple log stool or log frame, crisscrossing them. The other one will mimic this one on that side, just like this. And then the lengths of the logs can actually just sit here and we can stack them up, fill the space. That'll be perfect, right next to the bonfire or the fire pit, so they don't have to go too far. And the lovely thing about being crisscrossed, it actually elevates the logs off the ground, meaning that you get a nice bit of air underneath, and also they don't get too damp. One more, two more, that's plenty. Okay.
Showing off his craft skills, Steve's made a gate with the leftover hazel and a wooden bench for under the pergola. With the main features finished, the team can help Charlie with the planting. These include echinaceas, salvias and valerians that'll bring colour and scent to the garden. And shade-loving ferns will grow in the large stumpery.
Oh, Charlie, can I do that?
Yeah.
Is that hiding?
No, that's lovely. I want that now in the... Yeah.
Oh, well, it's like we're on the same wavelength here.
Here in there for the contrast.
Lovely.
Charlie's adding character to the garden with some of the family's original farming implements, including items with sentimental value. This horseplough belonged to Ruth's father, John.
Last few plants going in the veg area and the rest of the garden, and I'm sure Ruth is going to love it.
The animal troughs are filled with water.
This is looking gorgeous.
Yeah?
There are a few final flourishes, and the garden is ready.
Wow.
This is a spot, isn't it?
Right, Wales always comes through. Look at this.
I'm talking about the garden.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were starting off with where we are.
No.
Well, it's beautiful, Chaz.
And your lawn chairs, those are proper lawn chairs, aren't they?
They're really comfy.
Stargazing chairs, I guess.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun coppicing them and making them.
Yeah.
And it shows, a simple bit of design. It's amazing though, when we turned up, it was just a field, wasn't it? But it couldn't be further from that now. You wouldn't even think it was a field.
No.
That's, the trees and the shrubs in. That's the little groupings of them. That's what I love.
Yeah, screening some things out, but highlighting others. And it is very Beatrix Potter with all the little knickknacks, like the plough and the pig trough And
I love the slate outlining the veg beds.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's so wonderful to be using so many materials, isn't it, I think?
And what I really love about this is that this garden is going to be passed on to the next generation and the next generation, like those tree stumps came from Ruth's mum's farm.
Yeah, amazing.
And you just know it's going to be passed on.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Before the team arrived, farmers Ian and Ruth had an empty plot of land waiting to be transformed. After a £2,500 makeover, it's now a charming cottage garden. Natural materials and colourful plants fill the space. There's a fan-shaped pergola made from carved hazelwood with 3 large veg beds edged with slate. And a handcrafted chestnut gate and fence helps to define the space. A dramatic stumpery built from huge dead tree roots will attract the wildlife and is filled with plants that thrive in the damp conditions. Own fire pit. And finally, objects have been added to celebrate their family's farming history. Time to show Ruth and Ian their new garden.
So Ruth, you've been waiting for a garden for years and years. You wanted lots of colour and a space that you could potter and enjoy. So we've had great fun doing the garden. It was a big space, but hopefully we've made your dream garden for you. Do you want to open your eyes?
Oh, flippin' heck! Oh, my goodness me! Oh, my goodness!
Is it good? Oh, look, he's quiet. A nice gate. Go on through. Go on, wander on in.
I can't believe it. Oh, I truly can't believe it. I can't believe it. I really can't. And I never show my emotions.
Don't make me cry as well.
Oh, my God.
What a reaction. It's incredible.
So this is your stumpery, which I believe these stumps came from the farm where you grew up.
They've come from my home. Oh, my goodness. It looks like it's always been here.
That stumpery, probably one of the best stumperies I've ever seen.
Oh, I love how you've done the fencing.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Pinch me.
That character, the eclectic mix of things, using everything that was around the farm before. I think only Charlie could do the final touches quite as well as that.
Wander on down to the vegetable patch.
And
Very
it's
good.
A slate. I can see a seat. And the kettle.
And the telegraph pole.
What is that? Oh, gosh. Off the yard.
Off the yard and all the stuff. So we got the slate. So your veggies here with lots of herbs.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well done.
Wander
Well
around.
done. Well done. Well done.
You've done the whole lot.
David and Harry have been very busy down here because we know you got 4 boys.
Yes.
So we thought this would be a nice little hangout zone for them down here.
Yeah, gosh.
Cheers.
Look at those chairs. They're proper lawn chairs, those.
That's recycling and...
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And they're so comfy. Oh, I got my...
You just need a little cushion, I think, because we thought it'd be nice to sit here and stargaze.
Yeah.
Because I bet you see some great stars at night here. No light pollution.
Lovely, a beautiful garden.
Lots of climbing roses, clematis. You can grow sweet peas up there.
Yes.
Honeysuckle.
That's just great, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. I just can't
This
believe
could be your best garden, yeah?
Oh!
I don't think the rich boys will ever be picked again.
I have to say, if it wasn't for the Rich Brothers and the landscape team, this wouldn't have done it because everyone really sort of
You've got them boys
pitched
working,
in.
got them working.
Yeah. I didn't even have to shout today. They were having too much fun.
Ruth and Ian couldn't be happier, and their boys can't wait to take a look.
Look, you've done to your football pitch, Myrick.
Does it look different?
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Thanks very much.
You're going to help me with the gardening now, my rig. Then look, you've got Grandpa's plough. You see?
Oh, yeah.
Just can't believe what they've transformed this flat piece of lawn into. It's just incredible. It's just, and to think of how much work everyone's put in, you know, to do this for us, isn't it? It's just, I'm totally blown away.
I have 140 acres of garden. But this is a special little patch that we'll look after.
It's just so special, thank you.